Star Citizen is slowly growing with more content being added every major patch each quarter. Some of these patches add loads of new features and gameplay, some are much more minor and they lose features along the way, which makes me sad. However, there is a lot to say for potentially some smaller, more focused changes and improvements that could be made to Star Citizen in the short term that would massively improve playability of the game in my opinion, and I'd like to discuss and outline some of those in today's video. Starting with economy-based things, as well as general gameplay loops, I suppose. Cargo hauling. That's been erratic in-game since they got rid of the fun that was Jump Town, in my opinion. We have a few things that we need for cargo hauling. Shops need to be easily accessible, buyable, and sellable at. So I don't want to faff around for ages, not being able to sell my goods, or only be able to sell 100. I'd say I've got like 3,000 items that I want to sell. I don't want to have to sell 100 every minute or something. I want to just be able to bam, sell all of that, put a sell order in, something like that. That would be great. Even if there's costs associated with that, even if there's, this will be done in 20 minutes or half an hour, cool, just automate it, bam. I'm okay with them selling out of goods, like these areas. That sort of makes sense. We need more changing opportunities. Fleet Week had the commodity alerts, and I'd like to see that expanded out. So having those items that, bam, they're really cheap in this location, sends out as an alert, and everyone on the server can see that. That's a really good thing. And then, bam, you can sell an item or the commodity over here and get a load of money for it because they're low on stock of it. Everyone on the server can see that. I think that's great. I think that gives you a load of opportunities for cargo hauling, and you want to be able to make money from doing that role. This should be potentially combined with PvP missions as well. So I want there to be reasons to have escorts in game. I want missions for PvP players to disrupt trade in areas. So they go, well, bam, there's this commodity is wanted in this area. You could also start a PvP mission up in that area as well, saying you get a percentage of the ship's cargo values that you destroy in that area, as long as you're a criminal player. That's risk and reward gameplay right there, and a reason to have escorts. And that also has the fact that players know what they're getting. So if you go, there's a commodity alert in this area, I know there's likely to be players that are PvPers in that area operating, and I don't have to go and do those cargo missions. I just really like the idea of focusing gameplay towards players that want to do that type of gameplay in certain areas, and then everyone knowing what they're getting. Also, I don't want to see pirates just ramming cargo ships to try and get payouts. Maybe you'd have to be alive to be able to claim that reward as a pirate as well, things like that. And it's only a stopgap until we get the ability to loot ships more readily and things like that as well. But yeah, I think that's a good idea, personally, maybe. Craft protection and ship retrieval as well would go a long way in making players happy, in my opinion. So what do I mean by that? Well, say you've got a cargo ship full of cargo, and you're in the middle of space. The server crashes. You've lost everything. It's just bam, you're just gone. So that's really annoying when you've got like a caterpillar entirely cargo laden with a huge amount of cargo, and you just sort of lose all your money. But what if, after that server's crashed, you could go to the station that you sort of respawned at, or the station that was nearby where your ship sort of was lost, and you could just pay a small fee and get that ship back as it was with its cargo there. They've found your ship, they've brought it in, but they've charged you a small fee. Or what if you could just log back in and just you were where you left off? Now, if your sort of client crashes but not the server, that's often you can get back in. You can just bam join the same server you're in. That's great. But if it's a server crash, well, you're screwed. So I just like the idea of them being able to regenerate the server, and well, iCache and the great persistent streaming stuff that Cloud Imperium are working on does actually potentially allow for this, and as far as I'm aware, they could actually probably do this in game now, and that would be absolutely fantastic. Now, there might be a load of work involved with that. That might be something they can quite easily do. I don't know. I don't develop Star Citizen. I can give it a good reckon though, and I would really like to see that. 30Ks and server crashes happen a lot less than they used to, but they are still common. Mining is another thing. That needs to reward more, as does refining. Give me commodity alerts for mining as well, for the refined goods, for the mined goods. That makes sense. Give me the big bucks for moving the minables around in the right areas at the right times. It's the most polished gameplay loop as well, mining and refining, so I think it should give you good rewards for doing full gameplay loops. More generally, I want to see the potentials to make more money with all the roles and missions, and for all of it to sort of be balanced out. I don't want there just to be a huge amount of inflation. I don't want to go, well, just increase the rewards for everything. I do want it a bit balanced, But if you put a load of effort into a role, I want you to be rewarded for doing that. And I don't want one role to just be massively better than another, full stop. Like, well, cargo hauling is the best, or mining's the best, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So there needs to be something going on there. But I want to feel rewarded for doing these missions. And talking about missions, actually, Star Citizen suffers from mission accessibility. There are bugs and issues. For example, at the moment, some of the mission givers, like Mars Eckhart, don't work properly, and you can't get the Arlington Gang missions. So that's the fighting the Idris and some actually pretty fun missions there. Bounty NPCs sometimes don't load or take ages to load in. Just having all the missions that the game currently supports working and being able to get on them and get them would be very useful. More missions as well. I really want to see defensive ground structures in space. I want to see defensive, against waves of enemies, and that you can sort of duck out whenever you want. Just some pretty basic missions that have you grinding a bit more, or have you sort of like getting out when you're like, actually, I can't take any more. This is an attrition type thing. Escort missions and things like that would go a long way as well. Combat in general. Combat is getting a big overhaul in Alpha 3.14, with a mixture of things including capacity gameplay, missile updates, and a bit of a rebalance for the meta. So I'm hoping that a load of the issues I have with ship combat, which there are quite a few, will be solved, or at least changed. So I'm sort of like have to talk about meta and combat then in 3.14, rather than go, I want this to be fixed or whatever. Well, actually, I can talk about the most major thing that needs fixing for combat. Desync. Ship and character desync has plagued Star Citizen since the start of the game. It makes ship and FPS combat much less enjoyable and viable if you're janking around or you can't hit your target at all because, you know, the server thinks they're in a different place, or they are actually in a different place. I would love to see improvements to this. I think combat would be a magnitude better, even if there were just a few improvements here. Ground combat is mostly pointless, at least in vehicles. We need some missions to make use of tanks and buggies. We also need the ability to spawn our buggies and vehicles in our ships. Just Mobiglast app, bam, easy. We know they sort of like had started working on that. Don't know where that is in development at the moment, but I do think that would be quite easy to get in the game if they focused on it, and I would like to see it. Cloud Imperium have been working on getting NPCs defending outposts as well on the surface of planets, rather than just inside them. Oh, that would be so good. Give me these sort of FPS defense missions and actually assaults of structures. And yeah, we do have turrets on these sort of outposts, and we can fight them. And inside these structures in some areas, there are sort of like a little bit of FPS gameplay, and caves have opened up now with some FPS guys running around. But it's not enough. It needs more. In fact, FPS is still pretty ropey in general, but it is getting better. And two things that would actually allow me to enjoy it a bit more, I think, is looting. So, and we can start to see that with local inventory. I want to be able to loot bodies. I want to be able to loot them and take their gear. And I'm not just talking about their weapons, which we can do now. I want to be able to loot loot. I want to be able to loot their backpacks. Another thing that's coming as well that could add somewhat to FPS is the removal of green zones at stations and outposts for FPS weapons. There's going to be security forces, so it shouldn't be mayhem. You're not going to just be pulling out your guns and shooting everything. But being able to actually take out your gun allows for a lot more gameplay at these areas. Bounty hunting especially could benefit from this, with you being able to go after targets when they're out of their ship, shopping, eating, or at the bar. Wouldn't it be great to have missions against NPCs that are on stations? So go there, take this guy out. I mean, less lethal stuff would be cool as well for that. But in the meantime, go to Grimhex, take this guy out. Or if it's a player, well, that player might be pretty good in ship combat. But if he's gone to eat some Benny's noodles somewhere, you can probably shoot him in the back of the head. You know what I mean? So, more to this bounty hunting in general. I think that some updates, like with the new scanning system, having players scan down a target occasionally, having some more interesting bounty missions where some more stuff might happen. Also fixing the issues with getting a criminal rating when attacking criminals. That needs to be fixed ASAP. I'd really like to see just rewards for killing pirates and outlaws at any point in the game without taking the call to arms mission. So if I ever take out any outlaw or pirate, I get a little reward. I get a little bounty from that. Kind of like it is in Eve. And I want to be able to freeform attack outlaws and get rewards. And I think incentives like that make players potentially help each other out. They're more likely to respond to combat sort of distress signals as well, because they'll get rewarded from helping that player and for taking out the enemies. And I'll stay in areas and clear out more enemies more often, even if there isn't a mission associated with clearing out those enemies if they're pirates. Do you know what I mean? It just makes sense. Something else I'd love to see as well is non-UEC rewards for missions, ranks to achieve, achievements in general. Killing 100 pirates could give a skin, take out an Idris and you get a weapon. This could also even be forum badges and things like that as well, but I like to have players encouraged to play and get some rewards for doing stuff that aren't necessarily just financial rewards. Bugs. I mean, Cloud Imperium, fix your game. But more seriously, there are a huge amount of bugs and fixes that, as well as, I suppose, general optimization that could be done to give Star Citizen a much better experience in the short term. There's an issue with only 50 friends showing up in game at the moment. Medipens not healing when you get like bleed injuries. Items take ages to pick up. Bugs are bad. Less bugs is good. Actually, talking about Medipens, I do want ASAP, and then this could come with medical gameplay admittedly, the ability to be knocked down but not dead. So you'll be on the floor and you can Medipen yourself or someone else can get you up. So I think that is coming with the medical gameplay. But I think that would add quite a lot to the game. Boom! That's it. Well, actually, there is several dozen more things I want to see in Star Citizen in the short term. And I actually think there's quite a few more things that are quite viable that they get into 3.14 or 3.14.1 that would actually help the game be significantly better when it comes to playability and fun. But that will do for now, because otherwise we'll be here all day. I think that's largely the most important sort of things I've covered there. But what do you think? What would you like to see in the next patch that you think would really improve Star Citizen, that you know is like viable? What have I missed here? What needs fixing? What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below.
Oh, what's this? I just found all your search history online. You filthy boy, buying spaceships and going on ship hub. Zin, show a picture of like a sexy ship or something. You should have used NordVPN. It's a VPN, obviously, and it has my seal of approval because I shill for them. Use the links below to get a discount and help protect your data, identity, privacy, and to help with online accessibility. I'm shilling for spaceships today. Do you like building spaceships? Of course you do. JR Fabrication make officially licensed Star Citizen products and Airfix-like model kits. Do you want an Arrow fighter? Maybe a freelancer? Some Cyclone little buggies? Dragonflies? Oh my! You can buy them and build them, or just add them to your pile of shame. You want dioramas of ships and vehicles? They've got them too, and they continue to add more to their range. Follow the link down below to jrfabrication.co.uk/board to see all of the wonderful products they have on offer, and use the code BoredInvictus to also get some exclusive Fleet Week recruitment propaganda A3 art prints with each of your orders. Ooh. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and June is no different. We are giving away a Mercury Star Runner to one lucky viewer that comments on one of my videos made during June on the YouTubes. Just get involved in the comment section, ask a question, or tell me what you think about the video or the subject we were discussing. Thank you so much to my channel members who have pressed the join button below my videos, and my Patreons as well. Going the extra mile really, really helps the channel. Say thanks for helping the channel, Zin.
Thanks for helping the channel, Zin.
Consider becoming a channel member or Patreon as well, and maybe you'll get some poorly photoshopped naughty spaceship shots. Oh, saucy. Thanks for watching and all your support.